Sleeping Freshmen Never Lie. Chapter 14, page 114. Monday, in English, Mr. Franca said, "My friends, allow me to introduce you to Percy Bysshe Shelley." After we'd stopped laughing at his name, we spent the period reading his poems. While I wasn't super thrilled by his stuff, Mr. Franca mentioned that his wife, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, wrote Frankenstein. He also told us the two of them were friends with Byron, and they all hung out with this other guy named Polidori, who'd written a vampire story. Now I knew I had to get my hands on that ghost poem. Tuesday, we studied haiku. Wednesday, we got our school pictures. I had no idea that my hair was that weird after gym class. I looked like a chipmunk. Mom went all gooey when she saw the picture, like she didn't see me live in person every single day, but she'd been pretty emotional the last couple of weeks. She cried a lot when she watched movies on TV, even during funny shows. I think there's more going on inside than Dad and I will ever understand. I got concerned by Mouth on Thursday at the bus stop. "Hey, ready for the dance?" he asked. I glanced over at Julia and tried to think of some reply that would lure her into the conversation, but Mouth didn't leave me an opening. "What are you planning to wear?" "I bought a new shirt. It's got stripes so it makes me look taller. Girls like tall guys." "Your brother is real tall, isn't he?" "I don't know if I should wear shoes or sneakers. What are you wearing?" He actually paused long enough for me to slip in an answer. "Sneakers," I told him. "That's what I thought. But if everyone else is wearing shoes, maybe I can put a pair of shoes in my locker. Extra shirts, too, because I sweat a lot. Mom says I have a fast metabolism. I go through deodorant like crazy. I try to roll on, but I think a stick works better for me. I don't want to use spray because you can breathe it in, which is a big waste since lungs don't sweat, right? I mean, there's no way they could, because we'd all drown. Imagine that, drowning in your own sweat." At that point, I stopped listening and passed the time composing couplets such as, "Me dance, fat chance." I went to the dance right from the game. I wore old sneakers and an old shirt. It didn't matter. I could have dressed in a tux or wrapped myself in aluminum foil. The result would still have been the same. Patrick, Kyle, and I stood near the wall the whole time, drinking store-brand soda and eating those really cheap potato chips, the ones that are so thin you can read through them and so greasy almost slip out of your fingers. We had a contest to see who could whistle first after eating a handful of chips. We usually did that with crackers, but sometimes you need to improvise. Patrick won. The floor lost. As I look around the gym, I had the scary thought that I couldn't help sharing. What if this is as good as it gets? We might look back years from now and think how great life was when we were freshmen. Patrick shook his head. "Don't say that. It has to get better." Kyle glared at Mitch, who was dancing with his girlfriend. "Hey, if a loser like him can get a girl, so can I." I nodded a show of support, but didn't bother to lie out loud. None of us danced. We just kept pushing one another and saying, "Ask her. No, you ask her. No, you ask her." Mal actually asked a bunch of different girls to dance. It was painful to watch. The scene reminded me of a bee trapped in a window. He'd buzz over and explore a spot, discover there was no opening, drop back, and hover for a while. Then try another spot. The bees never find a way out. Their dried corpses litter the windowsills. Maybe I shouldn't feel sorry for him. He didn't seem to feel any pain. In a way, he was better off than the rest of us. Julia was there, dancing with Vernon. She was a great dancer. Vernon, on the other hand, moved like like cardboard, like a cardboard robot from a really cheap science fiction movie. When I watched them together, I felt like someone was cutting small holes in my lungs with a sharp knife. Saturday afternoon, Patrick called to tell me he was halfway through the book and really enjoying it. Sunday, he called again. Finished the book? I asked. I wondered what to give him next. Yeah. Wasn't it great? Yup. He sounded weird. What's wrong? We're moving. Where? Texas. My dad got transferred. We're leaving next month. Crap. That's halfway across the country. Yeah. Crap. October 29th. I tried something different. I wrote about the football game in the form of a play. The dance was pretty awful. I'm not doing that again. This is stupid. I don't want to talk about my article or the dance. What I want is to punch my wall real hard, a bunch of times. I can't believe Patrick is moving. We've been friends since 2nd grade. That's like almost my whole life. He can't leave. It's not right. Dad, do this to him. All parents do is screw up things for their kids. Take arms against a sea of troubles, Mr. Frank has said. He always paced in front of us when he recited stuff, as if the power of words gave him so much energy he couldn't stand still. Recognize it? A bunch of us said, Shakespeare. Right, but think about that line. Take arms against a sea of troubles. Anyone troubled by it? I heard that line a bunch of times, but I'd always let the words run through my brain without examining them. Now I saw the problem. I was pretty sure that arms meant weapons or battle or something like that. Why would you take weapons against a sea of anything? Didn't make sense. I sat there, deep in thought. Julia raised her hand. It doesn't make sense, she said. Exactly, Mr. Frank increased his pacing speed. It's what we call a mixed metaphor. In Shakespeare's case, he can pull it off, but lesser writers can really drop the ball, or, to use a mixed metaphor, they can fumble the beans. He gave us a couple more examples and asked us to come up with some of our own. Toward the end of class, he said, in a similar vein, we have oxymorons, words that seem to contradict each other. Jumbo shrimp is a classic example. Those are words that just don't belong together. Like Julia and Vernon, I thought. They definitely didn't belong together. Mr. Franklin might be able to explain all about language, but I needed to take particular issue to a different expert. Why do girls go out with jerks? I asked Mom when I got home from school. Lots of reasons. Maybe they don't like the boy. Maybe they don't think the boy is a jerk. Or maybe they're just going through their bad boy stage. Bad boy stage? That didn't sound encouraging. Don't worry. Most of them grow out of it. And then they'll notice there are nice boys like you to date. How long does it take? It depends. Not long for the smart girls. Well, that, at least, was a glimmer of hope. Julia was definitely smart. Not that she'd leap in my arms if she left Vernon. At least not outside my dreams. October 31st. Happy Halloween! I can't wait to dress you up in a costume. A mummy would be cool. It would be a good chance for me to practice my fishing knots. Doesn't go for something a bit cuter. Either way, there are only 2 things you need to remember. 1, share your candy. Number 2, I get first choice.